Hi, Michael.
Hello, David.
Michael, we're talking Who's Your City by Richard Florida. Now, remember a couple of years ago, we discussed Richard Florida's earlier book, The Rise of the Creative Class.
Yep.
And that was about creative people making some cities better than others, right?
That is correct.
Well, is this book along the same lines?
It certainly is. I'm not saying that this one is sort of a dumbed-down version of Rise of the Creative Class, but it takes many of the same ideas and it kind of turns them into a easy-to-read self-help book. Now, the premise, as you mentioned, is that deciding where you're going to live is, Florida says, the most important decision of your life. Now, he ranks American cities in terms of, you know, where's the best place to live at a certain stage of your life and so on like that.
Now, this reminds me of Thomas Friedman's book, The World is Flat, which he says with all the connectivity in the world that you can, quote, you can innovate without having to immigrate. Now, in other words, Friedman says it doesn't matter whether where you live. Which one of these guys are right?
Well, I don't know. You know, you're right, though. Friedman does say the world is flat. Florida says the world is spiky. Now, what he means by that is if you look at the key economic indicators, and he calls them talent, innovation, and creativity. There are concentrated strategic areas across the world, and it's the tallest spikes that attract the talent, generate the knowledge, and produce most of the global wealth. And if you want to be a part of the action, you've got to live there.
Okay, I'm interested. Live where?
Well, more than 50% of the global population now lives in urban regions. And Florida identifies 40 of these mega regions, giant cities. For instance, he considers Boston to Washington to be one city. And there are 40 of them around the world. Now, those 40 cities have only 20% of the world's population, but produce 70% of the world's wealth. So basically, he's saying, pick any one of these superstar cities and make sure what you want to do is clustered around it. I mean, that finance in New York and biotech in Boston and computers in Silicon Valley and so on.
That seems pretty obvious.
Yes, I think it is. You know, but recognizing that big cities, mega regions, are more important than states or even countries, I mean, that's an important idea, although it's an idea that's been around for a while. But Florida's turned that idea into this kind of self-help book. He's got a 10-step process that you can go through and choose a city to live in. And I mean, that's kind of interesting, but I think people go where their jobs are, where their schools are, where their family members are, and I'm not sure that all the tables and statistics in here are going to change that much.
So, Michael, who's right? Friedman with his flat world or Florida with the spiky world with the super cities?
Well, I don't know. I guess both are kind of half right. Yes to Florida's point about cities still attracting big talent. I mean, his list of the top ones is this: London, New York, Paris, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Singapore, Chicago, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. Now, these are all the top tier cities, but they're all connected to each other. I mean, they're kind of flat amongst each other. So you get this highly mobile creative class. I mean, the super cities are going to leave us all behind, so I guess for them the world is flat.
Okay, so...
Does that make sense?
I think so. I think so. Final verdict, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Well, split decision. You know, I'll give him one thumb up for a good discussion of urban issues, but one thumb down because basically he said it all before in his previous book.
Okay, live from the spiky city of Toronto, Michael Vaughan, thanks very much.
Thanks, David. See you again.